Hi, I'm Kathryn Lasky, and I'm the author of The Guardians of Ga'Hoole. No, oddly enough, when I started on book one, when I wrote the proposal for book one, it was for one book. I only envisioned one book. So Ga'Hoole was created over time. It did not spring from my forehead like a child of Zeus. It was bit by bit added on to, and it got richer and richer. And that was the luxury of having this 6-book arc, then went into 15 books to develop it. The delightfulness of the process, I have to tell you, that was really a surprise. You come encumbered with all these ideas about Hollywood, and I quickly was rid of them from the get-go, the first meeting. I realized that they were going to remain faithful to the spirit of the book. My worst fear was that they would try and introduce human beings in some way into this world of Ga'Hoole, which is a post-human civilization. So I got up my nerve to say that, and they just were aghast. And it was like, we would never do that to your books, never. And that made me feel so good. A little stupid then, sort of, for bringing it up, but I wanted to be safe, I think it's going to be great. There's some things that I really wished that I'd thought of. The first thing I got were these preliminary concept drawings of scenes and stuff. These, like the landscapes, they were like grandmaster paintings, like Turner landscape paintings. And then they did this thing, they had a series of drawings about the armor, the battle claws that the owls wear. And I wished I'd seen these drawings when I was writing the book, because I sort of glossed over it. I never kind of explained how they worked. I don't think it's a fair comparison to say how does a book compare to a movie, because they're such different entities. I will only say they are so faithful to the spirit of the story and the spirit of the characters. And that's what's most important to me. Well, first of all, it's not exactly in the world of Ga'Hoole. It's in what is called Beyond the Beyond, which is a very different world geographically from Ga'Hoole. It's very volcanic, very few trees. It's kind of like Iceland, I think, a little bit. And wolves have always fascinated me, particularly because of their behavior. They have a very complex social structure. And I did a lot of research on owls, and I found that they didn't have much of a complex social structure because they're pretty solitary birds for the most part. So I had to invent all that. I didn't have to invent too much about wolves. I mean, you have your alpha wolf, and there's all these submission behaviors and postures that they go through, which I just find fascinating. But when my son was about 12 years old, and we go up to an island in Maine, and he'd brought a friend, and they had a sort of philosophical turn of mind, both these little boys. And so his friend Beep said, "Max, what is your idea of heaven?" And they started talking about it. And their idea of heaven was, you die, you go to heaven, and you enter the world of your very favorite book, and you get to choose what character you want to be and play it out. And I've thought of that a lot lately, because this movie is like my heaven on earth.